Hello, it's Trout. Today I'm bringing you guys my Stamina Sorcerer build. Let's go ahead and start off with the gear. We're using 2-piece Bloodspawn, 5-piece Warrior's Fury, and 5-piece Tooth Row. We're using Bloodspawn because we don't have a sword and board. We really need the extra resistances that Bloodspawn provides. Has a pretty strong uptime too when you're getting wailed on. Also the 1-piece stam recovery is nice, and the ultimate generation is pretty nice too. We're using Warrior's Fury for our main damage set. I love the 2 through 4 piece on this set. Max health, stamina, weapon damage, that's pretty juicy. And then the 5 piece procs a hell of a lot easier and stacks way faster than what people think, granting us 725 weapon damage. But if this set golded out, it would be 750 weapon damage. We're using Tooth Row because I like having the Magus Average bonus. It really buffs our heals and our burst and puts us at 42.4% crit. And I don't like to sacrifice a skill slot on my front bar to run Camouflage Hunter. And I like using Major Expedition, Immovability, Stamina Potions because, quite frankly, those make a StamsOrc. You gotta be moving fast, ripping shit, moving on to the next target after you rip the first one, a new asshole. And I really wanted my Major Savagery bonus, so I came across this set. I'm loving it. Tooth Row is definitely underrated. We're using 1 cost reduction and 2 weapon damage glyphs on our jewelry. All are robust and they're all Tooth Row. There's name drops out the ass for this jewelry in the Wayrest 1 dungeon. We're using Haikijo glyphs on our big pieces, our head, chest, and legs. We're in 5 heavy and 2 medium. All of our traits are impenetrable. And we're using stamina glyphs on all of our small pieces on our gear, which is the shoulders, hands, belt, and boots. We're using a maul, a Nirnhode maul, with double damage poisons on it. Those can be made, if I remember correctly, from Fleshfly Larva, the fuck's the second one? Nightshade and Nirnroot. And the bow is infused with our Berserker glyph on it. We're going to always have this Berserker glyph up at the start of our burst rotation. You'll see that in a little bit. Okay, so the passives you don't need. First, for the Sorcerer passives, you don't need Blood Magic, because we're not hitting an enemy with any Dark Magic abilities. So we're not using Negate, and the rest of these are all from Agsort. For Daedric Summoning, you do not need Rebate unless you accidentally cast your Greater Storm Atronach. I went ahead and put points into everything in anyway. And you don't need Expert Summoner unless you accidentally cast your Greater Storm Atro. And then pick up all the passes for Stormcaller. Now the rest of the passes that we do need, all of Two-Hander, all of the bow passes, even though Hawkeye doesn't come into play too much. If you don't have the extra Sky Shards and points, you don't have to worry about that one. Pick up all the medium armor ones except Agility. You don't need improved sneak, but if you have the points, you might as well put points into it. When you're trying to get in stealth from the fucking 40-man running after your ass. Heavy armor, we're in 5 heavy. Pick up all the passives here. You can pick up improved hiding if you have it. Same with soul summons if you have it, if you want to. It doesn't really matter. Fighters Guild. You need skilled tracker. Banish the Wicked and Slayer. You don't need intimidating presence. Mages Guild, you don't need anything out of here. I put one into Persuasive Will. Just because if I do a quest or something, Persuade. I don't have my Undaunted on this character. I don't know, I haven't took this fag into PvE yet. You definitely need your continuous attack, your reach, and your combat frenzy. These are all... Actually, I don't think you actually need a reach. We don't... Yeah, fuck it, it buffs poison injection by a keep, but still. You could do without it. Or a melee too. But especially combat frenzy. Every time you kill a player, you're getting 20 ultimate, juicy. Continuous attack's huge too. 20% more stam and magicka recovery. And 10% more weapon and spell damage. That's pretty nice. For support, you don't need magicka aid. We're not using any support abilities. But you do need combat medic and battle resurrection. This reduces the time it takes to resurrect your buddies. And combat medic increases your healing done by 20% when you're near a keep. We are in Orc, as you can tell by my big ugly fucking face. We're using Orc because it just seems to synergize so well with Stamina Sorcerer. Increases your damage done with melee attacks by 4%, reduces the cost of sprint by 12%, increases the movement speed of sprint by 10. It's pretty juicy. Makes you pretty fast too, especially with our major and minor expedition. Unflinching increases your healing received by 5% and your health recovery by 20%. I'm not using Troll King on this build, but Orc's best in slot for any Troll King builds. In my opinion, I think it's better than Khajiit. But increasing your healing by 5%, healing received by 5% is pretty nice, especially because we're playing a Sorcerer class. We don't got a lot of class healing, if any. Brawn increases your max health and max stamina by 6%. Great value brand Imperial. But those are both really good passives, especially if you have your Undaunted, it'll stack with that. And then the last of the passes we need is Alchemy. The only one you actually need here is Medicinal Use. When using potions, the resulting effects last 30% longer. But if you want to craft your own potions, you're going to need all but Snake Blood and Keen Eye. Alright, so let's go ahead and go over our champion points. Start off with the tower. We're using 51 Warlord, 9 Sprinter. We're using 75 Mooncap to up our stamina recovery by an additional 14% and 49 Tenacity for when we do our rotation, which I'm going to show you right after this part of the video. We'll return a lot of our stamina back. It also gives us wind running, increasing our movement speed by 2% and our health and magic recovery while sprinting by 10%. Once again, if you want to use Troll King, there you go. Sprint, you get 10% more out of that shit. We're using 66 Tumbling under the Shadow. I roll dodge a lot. And in heavy armor, it's the air you punish him. So, I spec pretty highly into that. Onto the blue, the Apprentice. We got 37 Blessed and increase our healing done by 9%. It's important. I usually like to throw 43 in there for 10%, but I only did 9% on this build. We're using 9 Physical Weapon Expert for an extra 6% damage on our weaves. We're using 51 Master at Arms for 19% more damage on our direct damage attacks, which includes our fucking weaves. We're using 40 Thaumaturge for 16% more on our damage over time abilities, including our Poison Injection, Double Damage Poison, and Hurricane. We're using 37 Precise Strikes for 15% more damage on our critical hits, and also 15% more healing from our critical heals. We're using 39 Piercing to up our penetration by 3,315. We're using 37 Mighty to increase all of our damage by 9% with all of our abilities across the board. Onto the red tree, the Steed. We're using 51 Ironclad to reduce our direct damage taken by 19%. That includes attacks like Incap, Surprise Attack, Sea Frags, Dizzying Swings, all the direct damage shit kind of, rips you. Pretty much all bursts revolve around direct damage. So I wouldn't put any less than 51 in there. Feel free to put more in there. I put 10 Spill Shield for an extra 1k resistance, because that gives me 22,000 resistance, just a hair over 22k resistance when I do not have Blood Spawn procced. I'm pretty comfy around 22k. I don't like anything less. We're using 32 Resistant to up our crit resistance. 56 Thick Skinned. I'm wondering why the hell I put more in Thick Skin than I did Ironclad. Because dots kill you on a Sorcerer. In my opinion, I love playing a Templar, and so I kind of purge this shit off of me, so I spec more into Ironclad. But when I'm on my Sorc, I feel when I'm fighting 3 or 4 people, all the fucking bleeds going around with all the Defile bullshit just ravages you. And so I spec an extra percent the Thick Skin. Using 32 Hardy, 32 Elemental Defender to reduce all of our damage taken by pretty much all elements in the game by an additional 8%. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Quick Recovery using 27 to increase our healing received by 7% here. That stacks with our Orc and our Heavy Armor healing received bonuses. And we're using 10 into Heavy Armor Focus to up our physical resistance by another 1k. Same deal as the Spell Shield over here. I like that 22k threshold. Okay, so our combat rotation is Surge, Hurricane, Bar Swap, Forward Momentum, Bar Swap back, Vigor, Light Attack, Poison Injection, Crit Rush, hold a Heavy Attack, Dizzying Swing, Light Attack, Dawnbreaker, Light Attack, Reverse Slice. And see all the damage coming up on our screen? With all of that, they're usually dead. But once you hit them with that Reverse Slice, your Hurricane should be just about finished. Go ahead and put Hurricane back up, Vigor, and that's usually you need a Dark Deal too. Dark Deal up, and then follow right back up. Your Surge and Forward Momentum will still be good. And instead of using a Dawnbreaker on the second time, just use another Dizzying Swing. Should look something like that. I'm going to show you guys what our kill rotation looks like at full speed. Don't worry if your opponent roll dodges your heavy attack. When they come up from their roll dodge, they'll be eating the Dizzying Swing, which should open up your burst. A lot of opponents think that the heavy attack is the Dizzying Swing. You pretty much got to feint your opponent to roll dodge, and then you catch them with that Dizzying Swing. If they stand there and eat both of them, they're an idiot. See how that pretty much looks like a Dizzying? And when you tag a Dizzying onto it. But it's nice when you do hit him with the heavy attack, you get that bonus of damage. Another 10% more damage. You can really just tape down left click for this. Whenever the heavy attack's fully charged, it'll go. Much faster than just sitting there winding these fuckers up and slinging them over your head. Like, look how much slower this is. Of course, I press Dizzying Swing at the right time. So that pretty much swings from the waist instead of up over the head. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my Stamina Sorcerer video. If anybody's wondering what this is right here, this is a weapon damage tracker. It's the OmniStats add-on. You can display any of your stats on your screen. I choose just to only display weapon damage. It's a great add-on. It lets me track my Warriors of Fury procs and my Berserker enchant, everything I need to see. Phenomenal add-on. I use Surrendars. I use a mini-map, combat metrics, combat cloud, all the usual shit. And but yeah, this add-on here I usually get asked a lot about. But you can set it up to pretty much display anything from like physical resistance to fucking magicka recovery. Show you guys OmniStats. You can set up how you want to display it, the size and everything. You just click what you want to see. Say if I want to see my max health, max stamina, and weapon critical. And instead of having it short, I could set it up to like medium. And instead of being vertical, say I want 3 rows 2x2. That's what I get on my screen. But obviously I don't like that. This is ugly. I'm going to change that back. But it's a great add-on. I recommend that you guys check it out. Really helps in PvP. No one does use a ultimate and want to burst your opponent down. Sorry, I'm starting to get sick. But other than that, thank you guys very much. If you like what you saw, give me a like, shoot me a sub. And I hope to get more builds out for this patch. And thank you. Have a great day.